I always say, when we first came, whether people are East End market trader or British aristocracy, you're walking through our front door and everyone will be treated the same. And they are, and they love it. Peter and I wanted to buy the Walpole and rescue it, first of all in 1989, but we couldn't even look at it when it closed down in 89 because it was way beyond our financial means. But in 1994 we heard that it was going to be sold off at Christie's in an auction and likely going to be demolished, and we just had to go on a rescue mission, and we did. And we wrote this amazing business plan, and it was, don't invest in this building, it needs lots of work. Don't invest in this business because there aren't any trading figures. Invest in us, the Bishop family, because we're going to make this happen. And it was a brilliant business plan, but it had no substance to it. It was all made up, it was all part of our dream. But the NatWest Bank offered us a commercial mortgage subject to survey. And we'd sold everything we owned to get the deposit together to enable us to make a pre-auction offer that was accepted by the owners. And when we got right to the wire, after selling everything we owned, the bank pulled the plug on the mortgage because the survey was absolutely damning. Said the building was beyond economical repair and needed demolishing. It also investigated Peter and I and found out that we got no business acumen whatsoever, never run a business in our lives. We just had this dream of restoring this wonderful building that we'd fallen in love with when we were teenagers, never came in. I say to everybody, we were like two little Oliver Twists as we walked past here with our nose against the pane, how the other half lived, because in the 60s when we did our courting on Walpole Bay Beach, it was an amazing place, always full of happy people having the most amazing holidays. And it left this lasting impression, and we just felt that the world would be a lesser place if it was demolished and it had gone, so we went on our rescue mission. Well, when the bank pulled the plug on the mortgage, we had to withdraw, and we brought the letter down from the bank to the grandson who we were trying to buy from. Now his nana, Louisa Butcher, built it in 1914 with her husband John and their twin sons, and it had stayed in the same family all its life. And that's what Peter and I wanted to do, form a family business, because we'd both been made redundant in our lives, and there's nothing worse than getting to 40 and being thrown on the scrap heap by a company because you're not needed anymore. And we didn't want that to happen to our children or our grandchildren, so we were going to form this family dynasty and be Walpoleites and run it forever. But it wasn't to be, so we couldn't do it without a mortgage. And we gave the letter to the grandson, who didn't know us from Adam. He'd met us 3 times on viewings with the agents from Christie's. And he read the letter and he looked at us and he'd read our business plan, our airy-fairy business plan, and he said, this is ridiculous. If anyone's going to get Walpole up and running the way it ought to be, it's you two. And he gave us, this total stranger, gave us this building for 5 years to see if we could make a go of it. And we managed to get all the survey work done and build up the trading figures from nothing to enough to service the debt. And by the end of year 4, the Royal Bank of Scotland offered us a mortgage. And that's where we are now. We've been here 24 years, 5 months and 19 days. And counting, and it's still us against the world. Every day we wake up and there's another challenge. But we're all here. Our son, Justin, is our manager, and his wife, Gemma, is our assistant manager. We have 7 grandchildren and the first great-grandchild on the way as well. And the oldest, Daisy, is actually at uni learning how to do all this proper. So by the time we get to the 3rd generation of bishops, it'll be run professionally as a hotel, but it won't change. It will never change. It is what it is. It's our family home. We have a favourite room, and before we were this busy, because it's always let now, we used to have a room upstairs where we used to go and chill. It's got the most amazing atmosphere, it's got the best view, the sun comes out of the sea on our rear bedrooms in the mornings and wakes everybody up, and we always say, don't draw your curtains, because the sun will wake you up, but sometimes it rises at 4:15, so they get very cross with me for saying so. But this particular room, we felt it as soon as we moved in. There was something special and relaxing, and I don't know why, because we don't believe in all that sort of thing, but it's really true. And then we had people requesting that room, And then we had somebody with writer's block come and stay in the room, and they were able to finish their book. Then we had a chap who was writing a children's book, and he was stuck, and he stayed there, and something happened and he was able to get over the hump and finish his book. And so far there have been 5 people who've stayed in that room in the middle of a project that they were able to finish after they'd stayed there. And I was just saying this without name dropping to anyone. I was saying this in reception one day, and the chap behind me said, well, why don't you advertise the fact that you've got this special room with these special powers? I said, no, it's not like that. You know, it's just people are able to unwind and then they can see their way clearly forward. But that room seems to actually aid the process. And he said, well, advertise it. And I said, no, it's not a commercial thing, it's a personal thing. And he said, no, think about it, think outside the box. If you advertise it, then somebody who's really stuck and really in trouble might see the advert, and you could help somebody that didn't know that they could do this sort of thing. So we started a Writers in Residence little project, and we did it for 3 years, and it was really successful. And people could come and stay, as long as we had to make it that they were officially had a publisher, because people just saw it as a free holiday. So that was the last one, and the last person who did it was actually Pete Doherty.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we've had all sorts of people come and stay at Walpole for all sorts of reasons. And it still happens, and every day is a new day, and every day we meet new people, and that's what it's all about for us. None of this was in our business plan. We weren't going to have a museum, we weren't going to have a gallery. We just wanted to restore this wonderful old building, and to do that and earn the money to do it, we had to run it as a hotel. But the day we moved in, we started finding treasures. We had all the original kitchen equipment in the kitchens. I'm going back to the 20s here. We had up in reception is the original toaster from the 30s. Oh, it's unbelievable. The light fittings everywhere. I mean, a lot of them we've had to replace because they weren't up to British standard, whatever. And the authorities have made us replace them because they weren't fit for purpose in the modern world. But we've managed to preserve an awful lot as well. And people started asking me questions about the history when they saw all this stuff. And we found every guest card of every guest, every family that stayed here since 1935 to 1989, stuffed everywhere, brown paper packages tied up with string all over the hotel. All the laundry records were here. We have all the guest records, not many photographs, but we had this wonderful history. All the original linens were still here. There was a sewing room upstairs, which is now occupied by avant-garde award-winning hairdresser of 2005, Jerome Hillian, who fell in love with us and decided he was going to relocate here from Spitalfields, of all things. And he's introduced Walpole to a whole new raft of people who wouldn't dream of coming to Margate, let alone coming to a 2-star hotel. And he relocated to our sewing room, because he saw it one day and thought it would make a perfect pamper parlour. So he's been there for 5 years now. But that sewing room had a little lady in it, and every time they had a new batch of linen, it was embroidered in the corner, Walpole Bay Hotel, on the date it went into service. And our sheets are world famous now because Tracy Emin actually has used 20 of our original Walpole sheets with our name and the date they went into service in her work. And there are photographs of 3 of them that were in her retrospective in the Hayward Gallery. And those sheets are probably worth more than my hotel. Bizarre world we live in. But what a compliment. So that young lady's done more to preserve the memory of the Walpole sheets than we ever could. She considers us a special place, and people started looking. I mean, we're only a 2-star hotel. The authorities aren't into Walpole at all. They come in and say, oh, very tired decorating, needs renewal or whatever. I mean, the walls in here, 1914, Lincruster panelling, original, how dare they? The wall in the bar, it's actually William Morris wallpaper, and they think we ought to redecorate? It stays there till it rots, I'm afraid. Honestly, some people have no soul, and they happen to be inspectors for the tourist board. So we are only a 2-star hotel, but it doesn't really matter because our guest satisfaction is everything to us. And that's what happens. The people come, they get us, and they can just relax, and they become part of it while they're here. And there was a wonderful story. Can I tell you an anecdote? we hosted a party for somebody quite famous, and Dawn Porter, her 40th, I'm sure she won't mind me telling you, but she had an itinerary for her guests, and on the itinerary it was swimming after breakfast on a Sunday morning, which is great in the summer. Her birthday was on the 3rd of December. So all the guests were very brave, and they all went down swimming, and they were hypothermic, and Justin and I filled the Land Rover up with hot water bottles, my son and I took them down the beach, so when they came out of the water they all got a hot water bottle, which it's just something we do anyway for any of our guests who go swimming. But the thing was that she tweeted about this, and people, the followers, it's a new world to us, this tech. And she tweeted about it, and so many people, our hot water bottles on the beach are famous now. Because we did this one-off, and she told everybody, which was lovely. And people share after they've been. But it's really difficult to say why people should come, because people are drawn here. I mean, people come in because of the flowers. People just randomly walk through the front door. Now, there's nothing outside to advertise the fact that we have a museum and an apiary, but people seem to sense there's something interesting here. And it's far more fun for people to do that. Obviously, we advertise online and in magazines and on train stations and all sorts of things, but Walpole, the location, as a hotel, it's a great place to be because you're outside the main drag of the town, so you have peace and quietude, which is what a lot of people come for. We're on Walpole Bay Beach, which has the most amazing sea pool, tidal pool, so the water's changed by Mother Nature twice a day, and where do you get that with a swimming pool? And it's one of the biggest remaining in England, and so it's very safe swimming because there are currents and undercurrents here, so you have to be careful with the tides. And then we've got 26 miles of sandy beaches around the Isle of Thanet, and we're well placed to visit all of them from here. We have the Viking Trail, which people use for cycling and walking, that's not 50 yards, starts 50 yards from our front door. We have bowls greens, we have 26 golf courses within a 45-minute drive of here. So there's all sorts of reasons to come to this part of Kent, and Walpole's a great place for people to stay. 2-star or not, we still give a very good service. All our rooms are en suite, and every room has a sea view because it was built at right angles to the cliff face, so all the rear views have the sunrise, and then the sun goes up and over the building, and all the front rooms have the sunset. And there aren't many places that can boast that. And we've never had British aristocracy till Lord Bath came. And that was the most amazing experience because he is what he is. But he is very down to earth as well. He said to me, there's a long, when you go around the apiary, somebody who was there actually has written a poem about the experience, but we've got 60 odd people in the dining room. And he walked in with wifelet number 72, Mariella, on his arm. And the only table that was free was table 2 in the dining room, and we were expecting to have room service because his people had said room service. And he didn't, he came down for breakfast. Anyway, it was all this, and I was going around preening like crazy because everyone said, is that Marquis of Bath? Is that the owner of Longley? Is that Lord Bath? I said, oh yes, only the best people come to Walpole, you know, really milking it like crazy. And then he went, Jane, across the room, and everybody stopped talking. And as I'm walking, I'm sort of, my shoulders are slumping. I think, oh, please don't complain in front of all these people. Please, whatever you're going to say. Did I say it quietly? He went, Jane? I said, yes, Alexander, because he called him Alexander. That breakfast was absolutely splendid. How can I ever repay you? So shoulders back, there's me preening again, because everybody's listening to this. It wasn't a complaint at all. And I said, well, that's easy, Alexander. I'll go and get some marigolds, we'll do the washing up. Well, everybody in the room fell about laughing except him. And he pondered, he's rubbing his chair. He said, Jane? Yes, Alexander. What are flowers to do with washing up? You couldn't have written it as a John Cleese sketch, honestly, in 40 Towers.
You have to embarrass yourself, Mark.